What's your life's dream, and have you achieved it yet? Well, our next guest has. Kellie Gerardi had always wanted to visit space, and last year she did just that. Fewer than 100 women have ever visited the final frontier, and Kellie is one of them. Please welcome to DBL, Kellie Gerardi. Yes!
Well, thank you so much for having me. Hi, Kellie. I'm geeking out over you brought your friendship bracelets for Taylor all the way to space. I think that's so cool. Okay. When did you realize your love of space exploration?
Yeah, I grew up in Jupiter, Florida, which is very on brand for someone with my particular interests in life. And I think all that exposure to human spaceflight was very inspiring for me growing up. And I ended up seeking out a career in the commercial spaceflight industry. I wanted to help open up access to space for the next generation, specifically for the research community. And I was so privileged and blessed to be able to have that opportunity. About a decade later, I flew as a payload specialist on the Galactic 5 research mission with Virgin Galactic. And I operated 3 different experiments in space on behalf of my research institute. They were related to fluid dynamics and human health. So it was an absolute dream come true.
Wow, this seems like a simple question, but what was that like? What was your journey to space like?
Yeah, you know, I felt so prepared and so confident. I had years of training here on Earth with parabolic flight. You think, you know, the Vomit Comet, where you have these aircraft that take those roller coaster profiles. So I felt very prepared for the actual journey of going to space. But I think the one thing that there is no way I could have prepared for was seeing the Earth from space with my own eyes. Frank White has coined that the overview effect, and it is this cognitive shift in perspective. It was transformative. We've all seen pictures of the Earth from space and from much further away than I was, but the difference for me was really experiencing Earth as a planet. And I just think that was something so profound, so humbling, and really emotional. And it's something I'll carry with me for the rest of my life.
Wow, I was emotional just watching that. I can't imagine being there. You are a researcher and a space communicator. What can you teach people about space?
Yeah, you know, my favorite fun space fact is really more about just appreciation and acknowledgement for this moment that we are all alive to see today. This is the doorstep to a new era of space exploration. Only a few hundred human beings have ever traveled to space. I think I was number 677, and fewer than 100 women. But those numbers are going to be growing, and I think it shows that the limiter to human spaceflight was always access and not aptitude. And that's changing, and I'm so excited to see the opportunities that open up for the next generation, especially researchers, to use space as a laboratory to benefit humanity. It's just an incredible and exciting time to be alive.
Well, speaking of the next generation, you wrote a children's book series called Luna Moona to get little girls interested in space exploration. Why do you think it's important to have more women in space?
Yeah, you know, the small number of women that we have historically seen in these roles was top of mind for me ahead of my spaceflight. And being a mother is also a big part of my identity. I have a 6-year-old daughter. And I really wanted to make a conscious effort ahead of my spaceflight to bring my full self to space, so to speak. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't toning down my personality or my appearance or my interest to try to fit a mental image of what someone who's flying to space should look like. I wanted to show my daughter that, you know, being herself is always enough, and I wanted to show myself that too. And you know, the one other reflection that I would add is I had my mom with me at my spaceflight as well. And so 3 generations of us, right, on that day.
Wow.
And just reflecting on when she was growing up in the United States, women were not eligible to fly to space. And one single generation later, she watched her daughter reach for the stars. She's watching her granddaughter take it for granted. And it gives me a lot of optimism about how much can change in a single generation. So I'm just excited to be able to contribute in a small way. And I hope I'm around to see what it looks like for my daughter's generation.
Well, I have to ask, we only have a minute left, but are you going to go back to space like anytime soon? And if so, what would your research be there?
Yeah, absolutely. I do expect that I would have the opportunity to fly again, which is, you know, surreal. But in the meantime, right now we're focused on our data analysis from our initial flight and the publication process of those results. And then honestly, you know, the goal for me was always so much bigger than just flying myself. I really wanted to help blow open the door to commercial human spaceflight. And it's surreal that I got to walk through that. but now I want to make sure that I'm holding it open. There is a tidal wave of scientific research that can benefit from access to spaceflight, and I want to do my part to help enable those opportunities. So I'm focusing all of my time and effort there.
Wow. I can't wait for my 6-year-old daughter to read your book. You are such an inspiration.
So
Kellie, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your incredible story. DBL Nation, you can follow Kellie on both Instagram and TikTok at Kellie Gerardi, and you can get your own copy of Luna Moona wherever books are sold. Thank you again. What a pleasure to talk to you and meet you. Thank you.